working with him professionally, and he's also over the years become a very, very dear friend. Uh, Dr. Saab has a very interesting background. He is a medical doctor. He qualified and then he was training to be a surgeon. And then one day he decided this is not what I want in life. And so he came to LUMS and he did his MBA. He was the second batch, passed out in 1989. उस वक्त as you know LAMS में सिर्फ MBA होता था. And then subsequently he's been in the financial sector and capital markets throughout. So more than 30 years, 35 years almost. Dr. Saab was also one of the youngest chairman of the stock exchanges. He was in his early 30s when he became chairman of the Lahore Stock Exchange, which at the time was by far the most progressive exchange. For example, in Pakistan, they were the first exchange to go electronic. This was in the mid-90s. There was a lot of opposition to that, but he pulled it through. So I had the pleasure of working with him. He was the chairman when I came in 2001 also to Lahore Stock Exchange. Tried to do a lot of things, a lot of resistance. Riots ki had tak, that whole reform process. Anyway, so Dr. Saab has been in this field for a very long time. His brokerage house is called YM Securities. He's here with some of his team members. He's got several interns working with him, some from Government College, and Gul, who's our MBA student, she's also doing an internship with him. Dr. Saab has also recently started teaching at the Center for Continuing Education here at LUMS. He's teaching a course in investing in the stock market, and I think the next session starts in mid-May. And he and I have also been thinking, you may have heard of this initiative called LUMSX, which is the online courses. So he and I were thinking of developing and designing a course on personal financial management, investing, and so forth. Very early stages, but looking forward to that. So anyway, I requested him to come and speak to the class a little bit about what's happening in the markets. So maybe he'll say a few words, and then obviously any questions that you might have, from efficient markets to insider trading to whatever. He's been through it all. Ji, welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Sameed, thank you very much for your very kind words and your introduction. It's been always a pleasure to come back to LUMS, primarily because it is my alma mater, but more so because I feel that it provides me an opportunity to address the students here, like your class, and I feel they are the future. You are the future leaders, and wherever you will be, I'm sure you will be spread all over the world. It's a global marketplace. And in a few years, each one of you, inshallah, will be in a position of importance where you can make a meaningful difference in whatever you would be doing. And I think a lot of you would be working in financial markets. So it's, and in addition, whatever in teaching, the best part is that it's a two-way exchange. You impart knowledge and you learn from others. Every time, in every class, there's something new that one learns or one doesn't know because of the questions that come. And so today also, I will do it in two parts. First half, I'll talk about the subject and then open for discussion. Sameer told me that this subject is financial markets and financial institutions. So when we talk of financial markets, I would like to tell you where we stand today in terms of our market but it has to be done in a comparison. For example, comparison with its own past. I started incidentally on 1st January 1990, so it's almost been 35 years. How does it what today, how does it compare with its own past? And of course, in a global marketplace, how does it compare with other jurisdictions globally? And while doing so, I will be comparing our markets today with US, which in my opinion is the largest and the most developed financial market. And second comparison I would like to do with India. In my opinion, I call it marvel of the capital market is India, in my opinion. You learn why I say that. So when we talk of financial markets, when we want to assess financial markets, I would like to do it in terms of quantitative terms, quantitative analysis, measuring through different parameters. How do we compare with other jurisdictions? And other would be the second part. I like to cover it, call it that I call qualitative assessment. So, first, if we do the quantitative analysis, you must remember that there are 5 parameters on which you can measure the market. Number one, size. Number two, the size, breadth, liquidity, depth of the market, and its reach. So we'll cover each of this in terms of how does it measure in terms of size first. You all must be hearing on television these days. इसको पे इधर मेरा
ये पॉकेट में रख लें.
lot of you must be watching headlines these days which says index. Any one of you know what is the level of index today? Yesterday? Do you? Yes, 70. And in fact, even yesterday it said the index closed at its highest level in the history. The previous high that occurred was in May, incidentally May 2017, when the index was around 53,000. And today it's a new high. Practically, the day that I'm standing here, yesterday the market achieved its highest intraday close. But that is one side. There are other ways to measure the market. It appears that the index is all-time high, but are you aware of valuation ratios like PE and all those things? Okay.
Yes.
So measuring it in terms of dollar, when the market in 2017, when it touched its high for past 7 years, the index was around $100 billion. Today, at 72,000, our market capitalization is $38 billion. So measuring it by index, you see it's making a new high, but if you measure it in dollar terms, 138, practically 62% less in dollar terms. To be very precise, I think we are in Pak rupees touching, may touch today, it was very short of 10,000, 10 trillion rupees market cap. So divided by US dollar rate, it translates into 35, 36. But I'm still giving some room and saying 36, 37. So practically 62 to 64% our market is down in terms of dollar. Another way of looking at the market is through valuation ratios. The three ratios that are followed universally, one is price earning multiple, most frequently followed. The other is price to book, and third is dividend yield. Now, if you look at the market in terms of these three financial ratios, you will be amazed that our market in 1994, almost 30 years back, the valuations that were reached at that time and the index level at that time was, incidentally, that was also made 2660, that 2660 लेवल था जो 94 को पीक लगी मार्केट की. But and our index was formulated in November 1990, or I guess November 99, I'm forgetting a little. That was the base year. I think it was November 1990. It was equated to 1000. But the valuations were, those valuations, you'll be amazed to know, at index level of 2660, we have never attained those valuations till now. That was the highest valuations that our market had. It had a price earning multiple average of about 40, 50. Large cap stocks was around, average was around 19 price earning multiple, with some companies having price earning multiple as high as 22. In terms of price to book, the prices had risen to a level that the average price to book ratio had gone up greater than 3, around north of 3 price to book value. And in terms of dividend yield, the prices had risen so high that the dividend yield had come down to 1%. You compare it with today, our price earning multiple today on a forward looking basis would be around, a year back it was close to 3.5 to 4. Now it would be around 4, 4.5, 5. Price to book, average price to book right now would be around 1. 1 year back, it was around 0.7 average. Still, you would have 100 companies, approximately 100 companies, which would have a P to book ratio of less than 1. And the dividend yield today would be around 8%. So this is the degree of undervaluation, you can say, our market is facing. This P multiple has gradually, over these 35 years, gone down from 19 to 15, 15 to 12, 12 to 8, 4, 5. So this is where it is hovering out. One of the weakest link in the chain, I think, for this happening is macroeconomic. I consider macroeconomic stability is the thing that has affected our market. But vice versa, you can look at the degree of undervaluation there is. and if there is some stability coming back, what may happen with the market, even if you compare it with its past. In terms of international comparison, it is more revealing. Our market cap today is 35, $36 billion. Next door, the market cap is around $4 trillion in India, almost 100 times bigger. And in US, it is around $38 trillion, almost 1,000 times bigger. Now, you want to put things in perspective. Let's see, in India, the population is around 1.4 billion people. Their population size is 6 times Pakistani population. For simplicity, let's consider 250 million. The economy, their economy is around $3.4 trillion. Their economy is almost 10 times bigger. But their capital market is more than 100 times. And this is the reason why I say that it is a marvel. This was not so from 1990. Our journey practically, gradually has been for the capital markets downwards. Their journey has been practically upwards. The same economy, the same difference in population, but in 30 years, at that time, probably their market was 15 times, maximum 20 times bigger than us, our capital market, but now it is more than 100 times. The US is 1,000 times, we have talked. This was in terms of size, how we compare. We can take comparison from the largest companies also. Our largest company today is OGDC, Oil and Gas Development Corporation. Its market cap is around $2 billion. And if you see, it's in somewhere around 2013, it was, the share price had touched the high of 290 rupees. It was valued around $3. And today, it is valued around 50 cents, the largest company. At that time, the market capitalization for OGDC was around 11, 2013 dollar rate, 100 रुपया और 300 रुपया, तो practically 10-11 billion dollar. इंडिया में जो लार्जेस्ट कंपनी है रिलायंस इंडस्ट्री, उसकी मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन आज तकरीबन 230-240 बिलियन डॉलर है. हमारी पूरी मार्केट जो है वो 40 बिलियन डॉलर, और इंडिया की जो लार्जेस्ट कंपनी है वो 200, practically almost one company is 7-8 times bigger than our entire capital. अमेरिका के अंदर आप ये सारे जो टेक कंपनीज हैं, मेटा, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, एप्पल, इनकी Microsoft at one point in time had a market capitalization of $3 trillion. One company. Again, 1,000 times bigger. So सबसे पहले तो हम लोगों को एनालाइज ये करना चाहिए कि व्हाई this was I was trying to put things in perspective when I was talking about size of a market. It would not be inappropriate to say Pakistani capital market right now is a pinhead, or what do you want to call minuscule, but this is in terms of size. Now, another way of measuring our financial market, Pakistani, is reach. Let me share with you the reach figures. In Pakistan, the number of accounts, CDC accounts, that we have is close to 2.5 lakh से 3 लाख रुपया, 3 लाख बंदे, 250 की पॉपुलेशन का 10% है 25 मिलियन, 1% कितना होगा 2.5 मिलियन, और 2.5 लाख कितना होगा तकरीबन 0.1%. So this is the number of people in Pakistan that have account, CDC account. In order to operate in Pakistan, in the market, you need to have CDC account. CDC account, ये जो 2.5 लाख का आपको फिगर दिया है, ये भी I think इसमें more than half would be inactive accounts. So one estimate says that totally, practically, active accounts in Pakistan are about 25,000, 30,000. Total accounts 2.5 lakh. Do you know in India, there are maybe 2, 3, 4 brokerage houses. Each has accounts in excess of 1 million. That is the comparison that एक brokerage house online and everything has providing service to 1 million accounts. In Pakistan, the largest broker would have around 25,000, I think, accounts. In India, the total number of CDC accounts is touched 100 million accounts about 4-5 months ago. That translates into almost 7% of the population. 0.1% in Pakistan, 7% in terms of numbers in India. You compare it with US, it was in 1997 that they said that US has transformed from a nation of, it has become nation of investors and surpassed the nation of savers, because their mutual assets, the practically 50% of the households in the US directly or indirectly own assets in the capital market. Mutual funds were bigger than banking deposits. That is another way of looking at the penetration. One ratio is mutual funds assets as a ratio of banking deposits. पाकिस्तान का अगर ये रेशो देखें तो the size of the mutual funds would be around 2 trillion and the banking deposits would be around 3 trillion, 27, 28 trillion rupees. So this ratio is almost 10% or less than 10%. In India, this ratio is about 27%. They have that much penetration of the capital market, the stock market in their share mindedness population. I'll share with you. मैं 2011 में आई वेंट टू इंडिया. उनकी जो स्टॉक एक्सचेंज की बिल्डिंग है वो हाई राइज बिल्डिंग है और जिस स्ट्रीट पे है उसको कहते हैं दलाल स्ट्रीट. वहाँ पे शेयर माइंडेडनेस की लेवल ये है कि जो सड़क है ना दलाल स्ट्रीट के आगे, उसमें एक लाइन लगी हुई है बंदों की. वो नीचे प्लास्टिक बिछा के रो लगी हुई है, 15-20 बंदे जो बैठ के अकाउंट ओपनिंग, यानी अकाउंट ओपनिंग नहीं, कंपनीज की जो आईपीओज आ रहे हैं उनके फॉर्म्स रख के बैठे हुए हैं. एंड दे आर मेकिंग मनी जस्ट सेलिंग दोज फॉर्म्स. आया 5 रुपए का फॉर्म दे दिया. और 10-10 कंपनीज हैं जिनके आईपीओज आ रहे हैं. तो दे हैव यानी क्रिएटेड, दे हैव टेकन stock market to that level. In 1990, when National Stock Exchange 1992 was established, they established a nationwide presence of, the technology was called VSATs, very small aperture terminals. 1200 cities of India के अंदर they laid their foundation. So you can say they took stock market to every investor's doorstep. ये जो आज हम रिवॉर्ड देख रहे हैं उनकी, why their capital market has grown more than 100 times, इसके पीछे these are the developments that took place. And that is the reason why I say that India is a marvel. ये मैंने आपसे शेयर किया, साइज का इशू किया, रीच का ये लेवल है. तीसरी, लेट्स कम टू breadth of the market. When we talk of breadth of the market, we would like to talk in terms of type of instruments. पाकिस्तान की जो मार्केट है इज प्राइमरली अ equity dominated market. यहाँ पे जो प्रोडक्ट है वो शेयर्स हैं जिसको मैं वेरिएबल इनकम कहता हूँ. सो आवर मार्केट इज प्राइमरली equity dominated. टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ यूएस. उनकी अगर आज मार्केट कैप, एक्सक्यूज मी, 40-38 ट्रिलियन डॉलर की है, तो उसमें मोर देन 50% आर डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, फिक्स्ड रिटर्न इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स. यानी दे आर केटरिंग टू बोथ रिस्क प्रोन इन्वेस्टर्स एंड रिस्क एवर्स इन्वेस्टर्स. पाकिस्तान के अंदर अभी शुरू हुआ है, इट्स जस्ट बिगिनिंग, दैट debt instruments, Sukuks, are going to be listed at the PSX. But we do not have any fixed return product for the risk averse investors. Another reason, risk prone. तो आप सुनते भी होंगे तंबोला, यानी हमें, we have, our success would be if we introduce products that can compete with bank deposits, bonds, like जिसमें principal safety इंश्योर हो. तो जो इन्वेस्टर्स अभी पाकिस्तानी मार्केट में इस फेयर से नहीं आते, they will come. So that will contribute towards developing our market. So composition wise, ये चीज़ कि जी we have to, और इसका I will, please do remind me, talk के why is, what are the reasons why our debt market could not take up. हमने साइज डिस्कस कर लिया, हमने रीच डिस्कस कर ली, हमने ब्रेड्थ डिस्कस। एक चीज कहलाती है डेप्थ ऑफ द मार्केट। One ratio that measures the depth of the market is called market cap to GDP ratio. Ratio of the market capitalization divided by the GDP of the country. पाकिस्तान के अंदर आज के दिन अगर 35-36 बिलियन डॉलर इज आर मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन, जीडीपी हमारा 340-350 मिलियन डॉलर अगर है, तो व्हाट इज द रेशो इन टर्म्स ऑफ मार्केट कैप जीडीपी? ऑलमोस्ट 10%. $35 billion divided by $350 billion, it is 10%. एक साल पहले इट वॉज 6 या 7%, और पूरी हिस्ट्री में जो मैक्सिमम गया है ये रेशो हमारा, वो अराउंड 39 गया, समवेयर अराउंड 2005. इंडिया में क्या सीन है? Their market cap to GDP ratio is greater than 1. Their market capitalization is around $4.4 trillion and their GDP is around 3.8 trillion dollar. अमेरिका के अंदर और जितनी डेवलप मार्केट्स हैं उनके मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशंस आर ग्रेटर दैन 1. अमेरिका के केस में द मैक्सिमम दिस रेशियो हैज गॉन इज 2 times. द लोएस्ट इज 0.74, यानी 74% एंड 200%. पाकिस्तान के अंदर इससे आप आइडिया लगाइए कि हमारी अंडर वैल्यूएशन, अगर हम हिस्टोरिकली ही जो हमारा अपना हाई है 0.39 पे, तो और अभी 10% है, तो हमारी मार्केट वेयर डज इट स्टैंड्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ डेप्थ ऑफ द मार्केट? Size, reach, breadth, depth, and one is last parameter is liquidity. Liquidity of the market is measured quantitatively by a ratio called turnover ratio. Turnover ratio arrive at कैसे होता है कि आप जो एक स्टॉक की जो वैल्यू ट्रेड है साल की और उसकी मार्केट कैप, जो दोनों की एवरेजेस हैं उनको डिवाइड करें तो आपको टर्नओवर रेशो मिलता है. पाकिस्तान का इस वक्त टर्न लिक्विडिटी मेजरिंग रेशो टर्नओवर रेशो है तकरीबन 27%. इंडिया का around 0.7%. So liquidity score पे हम किधर खड़े हैं, you will have an idea. But let me share the past of Pakistan. In 2005 and 2003, our market had an average market turnover ratio of 3 times, यानी 300%. Again, बट उस टाइम पे देयर वर 2 स्टॉक्स, एक OGDC आया था और एक PTC, which had turnover ratios of 64 and one had a ratio of 64 and the other had a ratio of 45 times. In fact, we say that was a phantom market. A company like OGDC and PTC would have their entire market capitalization turned around in 6-7 days. वो जैसे ये अनहेल्दी है, दैट वाज आल्सो वेरी अनहेल्दी बबल था, दैट burst eventually. So I've just tried to give you an idea of how do we compare with other markets in terms of quantitative assessment. Coming to the qualitative assessments, have you heard the word acronym FELT? FELT? Okay. Qualitative assessment, F stands for fair. E stands for efficiency. You people all must have read efficient market hypothesis, weak form, semi-strong form, strong form. So E stands for efficiency. L stands for liquidity. And T stands for transparent. Market should be felt. F, fair. Fair for a small investor as well as a large investor. Fair for a domestic investor, fair for a foreign investor. Fair for an investor sitting in Karachi, fair for a person sitting in Mandi Bahauddin or Hunza. They should all be treated equally fairly. There should be no discrimination in terms of size. कि लार्ज को प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट मिल रही है, छोटे को नॉन प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट मिल रही है. एफिशिएंसी, इट इज टाइड अप विद सेटलमेंट, ट्रेडिंग साइकिल्स, आपकी ट्रेडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स. हमारे आजकल T+2 सेटलमेंट साइकिल है. आज से 20 साल पहले, in fact 20-25 साल पहले we had a cycle of T, यानी एक ट्रेड होने में और उसके सेटलमेंट होने में मैक्सिमम डेज 14 डेज लगते थे और मिनिमम डेज सेटलमेंट और ट्रेडिंग में 7 दिन होते थे. वी हैव मेड स्ट्राइड्स, बहुत अच्छा किया है, क्योंकि द शॉर्टर द ड्यूरेशन बिटवीन द ट्रेड and settlement, the less risk. The longer duration between trading and settlement, greater the risk. So we have made a good strides in terms of increasing the efficiency of a market. Liquidity, I've told you, 0.27 versus 74. Ideally, a market should have a turnover ratio of 1%. Transparency is related to information dissemination. We have disclosures for the primary market. If a new company is coming for an IPO, it gives prospectus, all the documents pertaining to the risk, prospects of that company. So, and we have annual reports. Our accounting systems are fairly advanced. We have very good accounting standards in Pakistan. And a company has to declare its results 4 times: quarterly results, half yearly results, and annual results. In terms of it should be measured better, or in turn how far it is. Information dissemination should be, number one, equally disseminated to all the public at the same time. Should be done as early as possible, timeliness, and should be as far accurate as it is. So, इस पे आप अपनी फाइनेंशियल मार्केट जो पाकिस्तान के अंदर है, मैंने आपको क्वांटिटेटिव बताया कि वेयर डू वी स्टैंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ दीज felt efficiency we have improved a lot, liquidity transparency we have worked a lot on, but in terms of liquidity we have not been able to do that well. इसके अलावा क्या है? आप, हमारे पास अभी आधा घंटा है।
जी।
ओके, ये तो आपके सब्जेक्ट से, because your subject is financial markets, so I thought to share this. In addition to this, हमारी जो पॉइंट एम्फसाइज करना चाहूँगा कि डेट मार्केट, आई टोल्ड यू कि डेट मार्केट हमारी डेवलप नहीं हुई, डेट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स डेवलप नहीं हुए। यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट द एंटायर US infrastructure way back in 1890s, 1900s was built because of these bonds that they called municipal bonds, infrastructure bonds. उनमें यूरोपियन इन्वेस्टर्स ने इन्वेस्ट किया और उसकी बेसिस पे रेल रोड बॉन्ड्स, पूरा अमेरिका का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्ट हुआ ऑन दोस बॉन्ड्स। आप न्यूयॉर्क का कैनाल सिस्टम ले लें, ब्रिजेस ले लें, पूरा रेल रोड स्ट्रक्चर ले लें अमेरिका का, सारा ओए टू these bonds. What is the situation in Pakistan? Why we have not been able to? For 70 years we do not have a local government. जो हमारा पाकिस्तान का टैक्स सिस्टम है, इट इज टॉपसी टर्वी। यूनिवर्सली जो फेडरल टैक्सेस हैं वो बड़े एक या दो होते हैं, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं होते। हमारा ओरिजिनली सारी कलेक्शन ऑफ टैक्सेस फेडरल कलेक्शन होती थी। 2018 से पहले बहुत ज़्यादा थी। 2018 के अंदर प्रोविंसेस, ये जो हम जिसको 18th अमेंडमेंट कहते हैं, डिवॉल्व्ड, वो प्रोविंसेस को आए, बट प्रोविंसेस लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स थी नहीं और कोई लाना नहीं चाहता 70-75 साल से। और जो प्रोविंसेस को भी आते थे, आप सुनते होंगे जी क्रिटिसिज्म के सारे का सारा पंजाब पैसे ले जाता है, पहले एक ही क्रिटिसिज्म। फिर दूसरा आप सुनते होंगे कि जी सारा कुछ लाहौर में लग रहा है, बाहर पंजाब के जो अदर सिटीज़ हैं वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं हो रहा। उसका रीज़न ये है कि वी डू नॉट हैव लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स। ये बॉन्ड्स फ्लोट होने के लिए जो इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है कि स्ट्रीम ऑफ इनकम, जो जिसने इन्वेस्ट करना है इन द बॉन्ड, शुड बी एबल टू डिटरमिन कि ओवर द लाइफ टाइम उसको क्या स्ट्रीम ऑफ इनकम आएगी इन टर्म्स ऑफ, और वो तभी आएगी कि अगर प्रोजेक्ट्स टैगेबल हों। यानी अगर आपने फॉर एग्जांपल ब्रिज बनाना है रावी का नया, तो जो उसका टोल आएगा दैट इज इट्स रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम। तो वो आप मेजर कर सकते हैं, एसेस कर सकते हैं उसका रिस्क कि जी मैं अगर इसमें बॉन्ड, इसका रावी ब्रिज बॉन्ड खरीदता हूँ तो मुझे साल का ये रिटर्न आएगा। वो तभी पॉसिबल है अगर आपका लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स होंगे, लोकल बॉडीज। वो नहीं है तो वो लोकली स्पेंड नहीं होता। जो मेजॉरिटी, इट इज टॉपसी टर्वी। द कलेक्शन ऑफ टैक्सेस मैक्सिमम शुड बी एट लोकल लेवल, ताकि कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं हो। मुल्तान ने करना है अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, मुल्तान पैसे आ रहे हैं पंजाब के, तो ये भी नहीं हो रहा जो लाहौर में लगना है वो लाहौर बेस्ड इन्वेस्टर्स बना रहे हैं अपना, जो मुल्तान है मुल्तान बेस्ड इन्वेस्टर्स बना रहे हैं, जेलम है तो जेलम बेस्ड इन्वेस्टर्स। तो इस तरह लोकल गवर्नमेंट की प्रेजेंस से लोकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट होगा, तो वी विल हैव अ कैपिटल inflows. You have to understand, we are a capital starved country. We need to attract capital, domestic capital and foreign capital. And इक्वेशन कॉजैलिटी का ये नहीं है कि जी इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट होगी तो कैपिटल मार्केट्स डेवलप होंगे, इट इज़ द अदर वे राउंड। कैपिटल मार्केट्स डेवलप होंगी तो आपकी इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट होगी। इट्स अ टू वे कॉजैलिटी। जो आपका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है और उनको आपको ये प्रोडक्ट्स देंगे तो फ्लो करेगा कैपिटल फ्रॉम सेविंग सरप्लस यूनिट्स। जो इंडिविजुअल्स हैं, कॉरपोरेशंस की सेविंग्स हैं, ये सारी फ्लो करेंगी इनटू, और हमारी कैपिटल मार्केट डेवलप होगी, और जो इसका इकोनॉमिक रोल है रियल वो शुरू होगा। आपकी यहाँ पे इट माई लेक्चर विल नॉट बी कंप्लीट। मैंने लगता होगा आपको कि काफ़ी नेगेटिव पोजीशन पेंट की है पाकिस्तान की, बट माई जॉब इज फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हमारी लिमिटेशंस क्या हैं और क्या करना है। Talking of purely from your pocket point of view, I would also like to talk. वो वॉरेन बफेट कहता है सेव बिफोर यू स्पेंड। तो जो सेविंग्स हैं वो इन ऑर्डर फॉर यू टू, आप लोगों ने 50-30-20 रूल पता है किसी को? जैसे 50-30-20 रूल ये है कि वॉट एवर यू हैव 50% ऑफ दैट शुड गो टूवर्ड्स योर नीड्स, 30% should go towards your wants, and 20% should go towards savings. इसको आप 50-20-30 भी कर सकते हैं, 20 to wants, 30 to needs, but you have to start young. If you wealth building, you must know that one is the active income. You should attempt that over a period of time, your passive income, whether it's in the form of a deposit in a bank, in a bond, in shares, that should gradually take over or supplement your active income. उसमें मैं I'll leave by just telling you the long-term returns that our stock market has offered. For practically 30 years, the stock markets have offered a annual compounded growth rate. क्या कहते हैं? कैगर कहते हैं आप लोग? Annual compounded growth rate होता है या compounded annual growth? कैगर. Kaggle is 13.7%. जो अदर एसेट क्लासेस हैं 30 इयर्स के, आपका यूएस डॉलर इट्स अराउंड 7% डीवैल्यूएशन हुई है पाकिस्तान रुपये की, तो यूएस डॉलर का रिटर्न 7%, बैंक डिपॉजिट्स का रेट 10%, गोल्ड का रिटर्न पिछले 20 साल का in Pak rupees has been 17%. That is one asset class that has return greater than but उसमें you have to bear in mind that 7.5% devaluation is included. अगर 7.5% devaluation आप निकाल दें तो गोल्ड का रिटर्न भी अराउंड 10%. आप लोगों को you must have understood मैजिक ऑफ कंपाउंडिंग तो सब नहीं पढ़ा होगा. रूल ऑफ 72 किसको पता? आपको पता? बताएं.
आपको अपनी प्रिंसिपल डबल करने के लिए जितना इंटरेस्ट रेट रिक्वायर्ड है सिर्फ आपको से डिवाइड करना आपको पूरा यूएस दे देगा जितने यूएस में आपका
And vice versa. For those of you who do not know, please go Google it. It is a must. You must know rule of 72. Magic of compounding. Myth है that our stock markets are पाकिस्तान में fundamentals पे नहीं चलती, सिर्फ rumors. I would like to dispel that. In all markets of the world, even US, the most developed market, you have not been able to totally eliminate insider trading. You have brought down, reduced it. So please understand that it is still one of the best wealth builder instrument, stock market, in long term, not short term. I'll finish by just telling you that the strongest factors that have their influence on share prices, one are, in my opinion, interest rate environment, and the other is devaluation. As long as chances of devaluation are high, stock market in Pakistan remains affected. As long as interest rates are high, its high interest rates translate into reduced asset prices, including real estate as well as stocks. Please, open to you guys. You have any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer them. किसी को नहीं, या तो कुछ समझ नहीं आया या सारा कुछ ही समझ आ गया है, ये assumption हो सकती है. क्या assume करना चाहिए मुझे कि कुछ भी नहीं समझ आया? जी, please.
Sir, my question is regarding the market behavior and how behavior in finance affects this whole market capitalization that we have in Pakistan. So I understand that market capitalization right now is really bad for Pakistan. It's quite undervalued. But how strongly do you think the religious connotations against interest rates and riba, that's how they it's termed here, influences the Pakistani market size and the rest of the measures that we discussed?
Well, I think, in my humble opinion, this is a very important religious thought that you have said, and we have, says Islamic Bank and non-Islamic banks. Islamic insurance in the form of a takaful versus non-Islamic insurance. So I see this is a gradual phenomena that has occurred, that Islamic banks have higher valuations than conventional banks, and their growth in deposits and everything is also higher. They are growing almost at 1.5 times the speed of other conventional banks. So definitely, and that is reflected in their market prices also. Investors tend to take Islamic banks as a better stock to own. The same goes to, in my opinion, insurance. There is a view that getting insurance is also un-Islamic. So the levels at which insurance stocks have their prices today, again, are very, very cheap, undervalued. So, and in spite of the fact that they give one of the highest payouts, their prices do not match the prices as of manufacturing companies. They tend to have higher valuations. So it, it does have a bearing on, and practically every bank is now starting a separate window or a separate subsidiary in the form of banks. This phenomena is also going to come in brokerage houses, also recently introduced this brokerage, Islamic brokerage concept as well in Pakistan. Does it answer your question?
It does answer.
G.
Sir, why are the number of
A little louder, please.
why are the number of retail investors not increasing in Pakistan? Why are we out of the population of approximately 2 to 3 million, only 300,000 are investing?
Well, I think the we need, as an industry and as a regulator, we need to create awareness, investor education, number one, and the thing that we have to dispel is that this is a gambling den, this is a tambola house. That has very negatively affected our market. Of course, for past 35 years that I am in the market, I've practically seen 5 booms and 5 bust cycles. That bust cycles have leaves a scar on the investor's mindset. That is one factor. A macroeconomic stability. These 5 boom and bust cycles in the market follows economic cycles. So practically we have 5 boom economic cycles, 5 bust cycles. So a macroeconomic stability, investor education, we do not have any product for our risk averse investors. We need to have those products. So practically these are the things that, in my opinion, plus you see, we regulators, because of these, there were crises. People lost money because of the brokerage houses. Some went bankrupt. SECP became very, very strict. I'm not saying that investor protection is not important, but as in a developing country like Pakistan, where we are a capital starved country, our main task should be to develop capital markets, not over regulated. So that has been one factor also. But now focus is changing and we are going towards ease of business. G. G.
Talked about for investor education.
A little louder, please.
Talked about the need for investor education and awareness, and in a country like Pakistan where people look for safer investment like real estate, gold, etc. How do you sort of then change that sort of market sentiment in a country like Pakistan where political instability and overall instability in general affects our markets, and why would anybody then want to invest other than real estate, gold, which is simple relevant, or the continuously these prices at Mitra, so how do you then sort of steer them away from that?
आपका एनालिसिस बिल्कुल सही है. Trust rates when they are offering 22%, why would that is very true. 90% of the time this is so, but there is one thing that you have to bear in mind, that the ease of selling of a share is its biggest enemy. When you buy a share, you look at its price tomorrow, 2 hours after, 5 hours later, 2 दिन रोज उठ के आप प्राइसेस फॉलो करते हैं. वो जब ऊपर, व्हाट डज मार्केट डू? मार्केट फ्लक्चुएट्स. प्राइसेस ऊपर नीचे होती है, ज़रा सी वो मार्केट शेयर प्राइस गोज अप तो एक इम्पल्स होती है टू बुक प्रॉफिट अप, या ज़रा सी नीचे आती है तो फेयर टेक्स ओवर यूज. सो द ईज ऑफ सेलिंग ऑफ शेयर्स इज हिज बिगेस्ट enemy also. Real estate, when you buy a plot, you are thinking already in terms of कि जी 3 साल टाइम होराइजन, 5 साल, अभी मैं करोड़ का ले रहा हूँ तो ये 2.5 करोड़ का हो जाएगा. तो लॉन्ग टर्म, that is what we have to emphasize. You have to understand that प्रॉपर्टी भी दो काइंड्स की हैं. एक है commercial property and residential rent bearing property that provides you rent. दूसरी इन्वेस्टमेंट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ प्लॉट्स. आपने 10 साल प्लॉट लेके रखा, आपको कोई उससे ईयरली रिटर्न तो नहीं आया. यू डोंट गेट. आप यू आर होल्डिंग ऑन टू इट इन द होप दैट इट विल एप्रिशिएट. Unlike that, a stock, if you invest in a stock that has a track record of paying dividends, so the total return from stock is in two forms: dividend return and capital appreciation. So, आप अगर वही लॉन्ग टर्म टाइम होराइजन से if you buy a stock and hold it, तो you would be amazed हम भी के उसका return. You see, problem is that when we compare real estate with stock market, we compare maybe A type real estate with stocks. It has to be apples and oranges. Unfortunately, there is no index for real estate, but on an average, कुछ certain areas की real estate definitely have performed. But अगर आप as a index overall real estate prices, you compare it with stocks, so you'll see in the long run stocks have outperformed real estate. Exceptional. अगर आपने comparison, if you have to do comparison of a highest category of real estate, then do that comparison with the highest topmost stock. I give you example, you go and calculate. There is a website called pkfinance.info. There is a return on investment calculator. There you go, enter symbols of the company and look at their returns. For example, 2-3 companies, I'll give you examples. You go and compare their returns. One is Colgate Palmolive, one is Miller Tractor, Mari Petroleum. So if the comparison you do a highest quality stock with the highest quality real estate, that would be the real comparison. Unfortunately, अब ज़मीन ने शायद कुछ इंडेक्स निकालना शुरू किया है. अभी आपको 5-6 साल का एक शायद ग्राफ नज़र आता है प्रॉपर्टीज़ का, उससे पहले कोई हमारे थी नहीं. तो emphasis should be on long term returns. जी. You have hit the nail. Right. stocks, investment in stock market is the most documented sector. You see, this is one very important factor why our market has not developed, because the money flows into the safest heaven, which is real estate. There is unequal treatment in these two asset classes. If you buy a property worth 10 करोड़ रुपए की आपने प्रॉपर्टी लेनी है, आप उनको आईडी कार्ड दें, you can buy a property. प्लस जो दूसरा वैल्यूएशंस, इट्स अ वाइटनर बॉन्ड पाकिस्तान के अंदर, प्रॉपर्टी वाइटनर इंस्ट्रूमेंट. स्टॉक्स का आपने एक 10,000 रुपए का अकाउंट खोलना है तो आपको 26 जगह पे तो साइन, अब आस्ता आस्ता हम उसको कोशिश करके नीचे ला रहे हैं. यू हैव टू साइन अकाउंट ओपनिंग फॉर्म, you have to declare your source of income, proof of income, anti-money laundering law, KYC. So, if I were to name one factor why our capital market has not been able to develop, if I was given this choice, डॉक्टर साहब कि आपके पास एक फैक्टर आपने बताना है कि हमारी मार्केट क्यों नहीं बढ़ी, I would say it is the unequal treatment that has been accorded. The safest, I say there, you should have same equal level of ease or difficulty. मैं ये नहीं कहता कि जी आप अगर स्टॉक मार्केट को बिल्कुल फ्री कर दें कि जी यहाँ पे, मैं ये ज़रूर कहता हूँ जी आपने अपनी ये फॉलो करने हैं, बिल्कुल ऐसे रखें, बट इक्वली डिफ़िकल्ट कर दें डॉक्यूमेंटेशन इन बाइंग प्रॉपर्टी. शुड हैव इक्वल टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट, शुड हैव इक्वल डिग्री ऑफ ईज एंड डिफ़िकल्टी. हमारा तो जो है अलमिया यही रहा है कि पूरा का पूरा जो इनफॉर्मल फ्लोज हैं, यू बाय अ प्रॉपर्टी 10 करोड़ की, यू डिक्लेयर इट एट 1 करोड़, वो वाइटनर हो गया जब आपने से 9 करोड़. ये कोई क्वेश्चंस, नो क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड. यहाँ पे आप कुछ 5-5 दिन लग जाते हैं अकाउंट खोलने में 10,000. सो ये बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है. थैंक यू. आपका क्या नाम है? अली भाई, आपने बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट एक ये एस्पेक्ट पॉइंट आउट किया जी. मैं लेट मी शेयर विद यू जो मैं MBA किया था ना लम्ब से, अंडर ग्रेड और जो है MBA में फ़र्क ये है, वहाँ पे केस मेथड ऑफ स्टडी है. तो हमारी केस मेथड ऑफ स्टडी के अंदर 50% of the grade used to be on class CP, class participation. तो हर वक्त ग्रीवियंस यही होती थी कि सर आपने मुझे पूछा ही नहीं, वो कंप्लेंट कर रहा है, या हर एक कह रहा है यार मेरी बारी आ जाए मैं बोल लूँ कुछ, वो पीछे बैठा है रिसर्च एसोसिएट जो कि नोट लिख रहा है कि उसने ये बोला, उसने ये बोला. तो हम अब भी जोक करते हैं आपस के अंदर. वो कंपल्शन होती थी, आपने ग्रेड लेने हैं तो यू हैव टू पार्टिसिपेट इन अ क्लास. तो अभी भी डिस्कशन हो रही है, वो कहते हैं CP ला रहे हैं क्लास पार्टिसिपेशन. तो आपके केस मेथड नहीं है. मैं MBA के स्टूडेंट्स की जब खिलाता हूँ ना तो मुझे पता होता है इनका इस सेशन की पीछे बैठे हैं रिसर्च एसोसिएट, वो उनकी ग्रेडिंग कर रहे हैं. तो हर एक होती है कि मैं क्लास क्वेश्चन पूछ लूँ, क्लास पार्टिसिपेशन. तो वो अंडर ग्रेड में केस मेथड नहीं है, तो कोई वो विगर जो है वो थोड़ा कम है. यू आर नॉट पुश्ड, कंसर्न्ड के मेरे को ग्रेड्स तो नहीं उस पर डेवलप होने. सो नो. सो जी जी, Azan is a person who is doing internship with me. Is a student of political science. जी Azan, आप
risk is involved in the settlement trades? Can you elaborate?
वो होता ये है कि जितना डिस्टेंस होता है बिटवीन ट्रेड एंड सेटलमेंट तो फ्लक्चुएशन बहुत ज़्यादा हो सकती है. आपने बाय किया हो 20 रुपए पे एंड बाय द टाइम सेटलमेंट डेट कम्स द शेयर में हैव फॉलन टू 10 रुपीज़. तो वो 10 रुपीज़ का मार्जिन बाइंग के ऊपर दे आर पीपल हु डू इट ऑन मार्जिन. It becomes difficult for them, so they default. So the shorter the duration between trade, वो fluctuation का जो control है वो रहता है. So that is why it's less risky. Right, sir?
Right, ji,
Thank you
very
so much.